So it's a different world out here provincially as far as politics are concerned now that Christine Frechette has taken over as the head of the CAQ and effectively becomes our new premier. She will be leading the party into a provincial election. And this kind of changes the political landscape to some degree because, 6 months ago, even 3 months ago, we didn't know that François Legault would not be running for a third term. Charles Milliard, of course, is running for leadership he is the leader of the Quebec Liberal Party and will be, of course, running for premier in the next election coming up in October, and he is on the line. Mr. Milliard, thanks so much for the time. It's good to have you back here.
Good evening, Aaron.
So I have a couple of things I want to run by you because I'm starting to hear people say the same kind of a thing, and I'd like to hear an answer from you. First of all, when I say that the political landscape, right, is changing or has changed with Christine Frechette, you were prepared to run against François Legault. Christine Frechette is not François Legault, and the suggestion is maybe the two of you, I want you to hear a clip. So Rudy Husney is one of our political analysts, right? Made a really interesting point, I think, about you and Christine Frechette. This is what he said.
It's going to be very difficult for him because if you look at Charles Milliard's profile and you look at Christine Frechette's profile, they kind of had this demeanor of being more, soft-spoken and taking time to make decisions. And we can see it. Charles Milliard, he's been a leader for a couple of months, but he hasn't put a lot of issues before Quebecers. He's kind of taking his time.
Okay, so let's deal with that. First of all, the reality that, you and Christine Frechette are not really that different. You're both, of course, you both worked on chambers of commerce. She is a former economy minister. And a poll today, Charles, which I'm sure you've seen by now, suggested with her as leader of the party, of the CAQ, that might take away votes from the Liberals, from your own party, as opposed to the PQ. So first of all, your reaction to that?
Well, again, thank you for the invitation. Obviously, the landscape has changed in the past few months, but you know what? I decided to run for the leadership of the Liberal Party back in January, and Premier Legault resigned the week after. So I was prepared for either Mr. Drainville or Mrs. Frechette to come on board and become the 33rd Premier. So I had a conversation with her on Sunday night. Very respectful. Some people like to say soft-spoken. I think if we have two soft-spoken leaders in Quebec, that's just great news if we compare to other types of leadership that we see in the political landscape. That being said, I don't see myself as a lookalike of Mrs. Frechette in any way. First, I was not part of that government in the past 4 to 8 years, which party, the Quebecers are obviously running away from. And second of all, that I have an economic background, but I'm also a pharmacist. So we're going to be presenting some very interesting issues when it comes to healthcare as well. So in both, content and the way we are, I think Quebecers will see two different people. And you know what? They're going to have to choose on October 5th. And never forget that we're going to have Mr. Plamondon also. So it's going to be a very interesting race, hopefully a respectful one.
But on this idea that poll, I don't know if it was a Léger poll or not, that showed with her now, with Christine Frechette as head of the CAQ, that actually hurts you more, the Liberals more, than it does the PQ.
We'll see what happens, Aaron. We're going to have many polls in the coming weeks. What I can tell you is that I'm on the ground. I'm meeting people every day, day in, day out, and they are done with the Coalition Avenir Québec. So this is kind of the last hope for them right now. She's going to be presenting her new cabinet next week. We'll see what happens, but Quebecers have been adamantly asking for change in the past months, in the past years, and we will be providing that change in 6 months.
The other thing that was said by Mr. Husney, and also said by James Meny, we talked about this earlier in the afternoon, the idea that we've not heard a lot of specific ideas from Charles Milliard. And I wonder, is that strategic? Because you know what? When your enemy, as they say, is doing what it can to hurt itself, why say anything? So what is your plan?
Well, Two things. First of all, the only idea I've heard from Mr. Plamondon is to break our country. So I don't have any idea about his political platform right now. That being said, I've been clear about a couple of ideas that we will be proposing to Quebecers. First of all, I want to implement a public platform of telemedicine throughout Quebec. I want to organize Estate General, des États Généraux on education. I've also pledged to pay for student internships for both the public and the private sector. I want to build 100,000 units per year. So I've been clear about that in the past few weeks. I will be repeating that, and I will be also presenting the team. because, I'm in a chess game right now. So I want to present myself, the team, the platform, and it will all come in due time. We're still 5 months and a half away from election night.
I know that Christine Frechette talked about the economy. You've said you want to put the economy at the heart of your decisions, right? You want to grow Quebec's wealth. I think you've mentioned small and medium-sized businesses as well, giving them a bit of a break because there's a burden on them, a lot of the red tape that they have to endure. Those are general ideas. How do you go ahead and actually follow through? Where's the money going to come from for some of this?
Well, it's going to come from the prosperity that we will generate with having more SMEs opening throughout Quebec. That's the plan that I proposed with Raymond Bachand back during the leadership race. So it's to roll out the red carpet for our small and medium enterprises. I want to be also open to different kind of energies to create more prosperity throughout Quebec. So the economic platform, again, will be presented in a few weeks, along with people that will be representing that economic platform during the campaign. So no worries about that. So
one of the other issues, and it came up when Bernard Drinville got into the race, he brought up, I had him on the show actually, he talked about immigration. That became a big thing. That's, of course, part of the CAQ's plan up until now. I've not heard Christine Frechette really react to that, the importance of or wanting to control. Where are you on immigration?
Well, I think that immigration is a true positive element for the prosperity and the future of Quebec. Of course, I think that we need to have politicians that speak about immigration in a positive way. So we need a change of tone, but we also need to have more numbers when it comes to measure the potential that we have to welcome immigrants. So that's why I want to sit down with the Minister of Immigration and make sure that we have all the data that we need to make sure that the threshold that we will be proposing will fit actually the capacity that we have in Quebec. So I know that, Parti Québécois is proposing 35,000. I know that the Conseil du Patronat is asking for 100,000. But you know what? Nobody is ever respecting the numbers they're proposing. So we need more data and we need a more positive tone on immigration. The CAQ has no lessons to give in any way when it comes to immigration. And obviously, this is the same for Parti Québécois.
Would one of the things you do be reinstate the PEC plan that they got rid of and now want to modify? Where are you on that?
Of course. I guess, every Quebecer wants to reinstate the PEC except Minister Roberge. So obviously, I think that the new premier will be reinstating that. But if she doesn't, I will do it in October. I think we need to keep our promises that we make to the people that have chosen to come here. This is the way Quebecers are.
You also, one of the big issues, of course, will be medical specialists, doctors. We know what a thorn in the side that has been with this CAQ government. What's your plan to deal with them? How quick do you need to come to an agreement?
Well, I think that we need to stop, arguing publicly with doctors. We need doctors to have a better healthcare system, but we also need to open doors to other healthcare professionals. So that's why I'm proposing, as an example, a public platform of telemedicine. We need our people, especially in rural areas, to have access to better healthcare system, whether it's virtual or physical, and also for our elderly people. And you know what? The part of the electoral platform on seniors will be very interesting as well. So hopefully you're going to invite me back, and I'm going to talk about that in a few weeks.
The last thing I want to ask you refers to what happened last night. The Liberal win federally in these three ridings, now having a majority government. We had David Hertel on, and I think this is one of those quotes that sticks with a lot of people. Mark Carney is the most popular politician in Quebec.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Carney, the Prime Minister. Do you plan to work with him? How do you, in fact, involve Mark Carney in a campaign, or do you?
Well, he's obviously popular because we can see the numbers. That being said, the role of the Premier of Quebec is to generate opportunities, both economic and political opportunities throughout Canada. But for that, we need to have a Premier that actually believes in Canada. So yes, I'm going to work with the person that Canadians have chosen to as their Prime Minister, but I would work with any Prime Minister of any political parties because my game is about Quebec and Quebec first.
All right, we will have to leave it at that. I will point out one other thing, to be fair, when I talked about polling and the idea that Christine Frechette might take some votes from the Liberals, the numbers for the Liberal Party provincially in the regions keeps getting better and better and better with every poll, right? So I think that's obviously testament to the fact that you are out there and meeting people as well on the ground. Is that the sense you get?
It is, and especially with the French-speaking voters, actually we're at 22-23%. So we're the highest among you know Parti conservateur, QS, and the CAQ. So this is proof of what I've just mentioned.
All right, we leave it at that, Mr. Milliard. Always appreciate the time. Thank you so much. I hope we'll have a chance to speak again soon.
Thank you.
Unmistakably Canadian.
It's the music that raised you.
The artists raising the bar.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
Hey, my name's Brett Emmons. I'm from the Glorious Sons.
Hi, I'm Nelly Furtado.
Made in Canada. The station that champions Canadian music.
Loud, proud, and all yours.
No passports required. Just press play.
Tap into Made in Canada now on iHeartRadio.ca
Or the free iHeartRadio app.